Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you with a video on tips and tricks on how to pass your driving test, because you know I feel like I'm qualified now. I passed my test in June of 2019, so it's coming up to 2 years since I've passed, and the worst I've got is a parking ticket because I stay parking in the wrong place, man. What the heck? Anyway, so basically I'm just going to be giving you some tips and tricks on how I passed, because if you saw my driving test and if you saw my story time, like, you would know that no. First and foremost, my very first tip is get a good instructor. Make sure you get a good quality instructor, one that won't just keep taking your money, but one that will kind of sit down and assess with you, like, listen, this is where you are, this is where you need to get to, you should be ready in this many hours, you should be ready, because that's what my teacher did with me within like the first two lessons, maybe within the first 4 hours or so. I was having loads of issues, but he said to me, like, these are workable issues, like, you can move from them, and I think you should book your test. So I said, you the boss. You the boss. I was like, cool, I'm gonna book my test. So I booked it kind of ahead of time so that I had the time to do my test, my lessons, I mean. So yeah, first tip is get a good instructor. Second tip is research, do your own searching up and learning and everything at home. Yeah, you have an instructor, yeah, they're supposed to teach you all the practical stuff, but learning is very much practical and theory, and it's not just the theory that you take the test on and then you go and pass it and blah blah blah. It's not just that theory. There's so much more theory to driving. Like, you need to know the road, as in driving on the road, and you need to understand the road, as in what everything means, and watch a lot of YouTube videos. I don't know how you're best suited to learn, so everyone has their own learning type. Me personally, I'm a very practical person. I have to do things with my hands, but sometimes you need to control yourself and be like, listen, sit down and read this book, or sit down and watch this video, because this will be the difference between passing and failing. This will be the difference between one extra fault and no fault. YouTube helps me so much, so much. My instructor and YouTube, without those two, boy, I wouldn't be sitting here with a pinky. I'm gonna tell you that for free. You get loads of people who are driving instructors on here giving you free information, and those people who, like myself, who've had the experience giving you free information. Why would you not take free information? Why would you not do that? Okay, when you're on YouTube, don't just be searching up like random things. Be searching up specific things that you need help with. Personally, I would give this advice, is not to learn to drive with a friend or a relative, unless they're a driving instructor, solely because they could give you really bad advice, or watching them do certain things is completely contradictory to what you should do in a test. Like, certain things like don't drive with one hand, that's a very bad habit of people who are comfortable driving that you as a new driver should not be picking up. Don't do this when you're reversing on the steering wheel, none of that. None of that, because you will fail. None of that. Unless they are certified driving instructors, I would advise not to learn with them. This kind of couples with the make sure you find a good instructor, but what I would make sure you to do is make sure that you're not doing too many lessons, because sometimes you can just overdo it, because I mean, at the end of everything there needs to be a test. So it's like, you can't keep on doing lessons, because there are some instructors out there that will be finessing you. They're just going to take your money, never sit down and be like, yeah, you're ready, because they're just there for the money. If you feel like you're coming to a point where you're very comfortable on the roads and your instructor is still not telling you to go and book your test, reassess the situation, my dear brethren, because that person is just there for your money, okay? Another tip is to assess yourself in each lesson. Understand what you know how to do and what you don't know how to do, so that when you know what you know how to do, cool, work on it, continue, great. When you know that you don't know how to do something, go home and go on YouTube it. Another tip I would advise, do a mock test. And do a mock test with somebody who you don't know. Okay, do a mock test with somebody who's new, there's not going to be any bias, like remove the bias from the situation. I think that really helps, because there's no coddling, there's no room for, you know, giving you the point just because. There's none of that. Like, when you're with somebody that you don't know, they have less of an inclination to be nice to you, and sometimes that's what you need. Like, as a human being, you need to be slapped up and told, listen, get it the heck together. Get it together. Personally, that's what I need sometimes. Take yourself out of your comfort zone. Anything that makes you feel too comfortable, remove yourself, and then kind of put yourself somewhere where you're not too comfortable and see how you react. If you react poorly, like I did, it's okay. Like, it's okay to not be amazing, because you're learning at the end of the day. So if you take yourself out of your comfort zone and you don't drive as well as you want to drive, or as well as you usually drive, blah blah blah, just work on whatever. Have a mock test, because I learned so much from my mock test. I learned a lot. I learned that certain things that I feel like I'm comfortable with, I clocked that I'm only comfortable doing it because I'm next to my instructor, and what I needed to come out of that mindset of, like, he's always going to be there, because no, in the test, he's not in the car, he's not sitting next to me, he's not in the back seat, he's at the test center while I'm on the road with a complete stranger. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need to get out of the mindset of this person's going to be sitting next to you all the time. And I think that's something that's dangerous about having bare lessons as well, because you get comfortable, you get familiar with the person being there, and you get comfortable with them telling you what to do when you do something right, when you do something wrong. They're not always going to be there. On the exam, they're not going to be there. In real life, when you're driving, going about your day, they're not going to be there. So come out of that mindset. Mock tests are good to help you. Just in general, mock tests are great to help you know where you're lacking. But mock tests in this practical situation is very good to help you know where you're lacking, especially when you remove the bias and no one's going to be telling you, oh, I just gave you this point just because. And I'm not even saying that my instructor would have said that, but in my head, to me, it just made sense for me to remove any potential bias. Like, if I'm going to do one mock test, I might as well do it properly. I'm literally making a video. I don't know how everybody is, but with me personally, when I tell myself something, like, what I say goes. Does that make sense? I was so hell-bent on passing first time, like I didn't have any other options, because I told myself, Alexis, if you do not pass this first time, you're not spending money on another lesson, nor are you going to pay the government twice for one test. You're not doing it. You're not doing it. You're going to pay twice in this England. I said no. I said no. I said, Alexis, if you don't pass it, that's it. That's your one shot at having your license. If you do mess up, if you do big mess up, that's it. I would say when you're coming up to your test, make sure you fit in as many lessons within that week as possible, as you have time for, as you have money for, before the actual test. And I did 2-hour slots every day that week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday morning I did 2 hours. Another tip I think I would say is just be calm. Try and calm your nerves, because obviously, like, learning to drive is quite scary, it's quite daunting, it's quite overwhelming, like there's just a lot going on. I would just say be calm, like try and calm your nerves, whatever you can do before your test, before your lessons, to calm your nerves. Just do it. Don't smoke, don't drink, don't do anything stupid like that you can't do on the streets, on the roads. But like, say if you need to have a hot chocolate to calm you down, or if you need to have a hot bath to calm you down, just make sure you do those things before your test or your lesson. If you need to say a prayer, say your prayer. That's what I did, quite frankly. I said, God, that day was so funny. I sat there and I said, God, we've had this discussion. Baby, literally, I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing this again. So if I don't pass, then you don't want me to pass. That's why if I don't pass, you don't want me to pass, because I'm not doing it again. I don't know if people understand. I was not paying the government twice. No, it even hurt me to pay them once. Like, paying it twice was not happening. So I said, God, if I don't pass, then you actually just don't want me to drive. And if that's a sign, then boy, that's the sign. I'm not gonna fight you. Do you know what I mean? So whatever you need to do to calm your spirit, calm your nerves before you get behind that wheel, do it. But don't do anything reckless. Don't, like I said anyways. I'm not like, you know, I'm not like I don't know how to say it. I'm not superstitious or anything, but I would say don't tell anyone when your test is. You can be like, oh yeah, it's in June or it's in July or whatever, you know what I mean? But I would just say don't be specific, because you know you can jinx some things sometimes. So you know, another tip I have is just make sure that you're very familiar with road rules, road language, road signs. Just make sure you're familiar with it, because if you're coming up to a stop sign, you need to know that you need to stop, because if you don't stop, automatic fail. If you're coming up to a no entry and you go in the no entry, you're gonna fail. Like, you need to know the roads, you need to know the signs, you need to understand the road markings. Once you've booked the actual test, you can change the date, I think up to 3 times or 2 times. So if you change it, just be very sure of like what you're doing. But yeah, that's all I have to say, guys. If anyone else has suggestions, obviously just put them in the comment section. That might really help somebody. And yeah, that's it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and watch my other videos and everything, and share and you know, spread the love, guys, you know, because y'all the realest. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye. I know that's right.